Hello and welcome to Duckwells, an online treasure trove of antique and vintage gems. You can find the link in the description box below. My name is Laura, and I'm excited to share a peek into what's fresh and exciting in the shop. Duckwells offers quite a large selection of vintage and antique office supplies. This box is new to the shop. It's from Yaman and Irby, one of the major manufacturers of wooden trays, desks, and of course these boxes. This is a large index box, an example of the handy card index outfit, which would have stored various pieces of cardstock or just any kind of information that you needed to keep in this box. It has the curves on the side, which is the hallmark of index boxes. It makes it easier to flip through when you were looking for specific pieces of paper. This box is in very good vintage condition, a nice wooden oak box with the original interior label with a bit of staining, as you can see. I just love the grain of the oak, and the dovetailed corners just make for such a great classic, beautiful box. This particular one, you can see the corners have a little bit of wear on them, which to me just gives it that great vintage look. Still serviceable after all these decades, and still a classic for any office or home decor. Duckwells also has a large inventory of antique and vintage tobacco lighters. This desktop model, made in the mid-century in Japan by Ideal Line, features a design of the history of the telephone wrapped around the circumference of the lighter, a fun collectible, amusing design, and a fun history of the telephone from the 1800s to about the 1960s. In addition to this lighter, you'll also find lighters that were used during World War I, some long arm, I believe they are called, tabletop models that are some of the earlier models from the 1920s, all the way through to the what we predominantly called the female lighters of the 1960s. A nice collectible, usually can be made back into working order quite quickly, and always a fun collectible. Newly added to the shop is this beautiful red and white souvenir of Boston plate. These plates were made primarily in the 1920s all the way through about the 1950s, 60s. Highly popular throughout the decades. They are wonderful display pieces, perfect for the china cabinet, etc. I also think they would make fantastic gifts for people who are from Boston, who are moving to Boston, etc. Usually very charming, lovely design work, as you can see in this red and white plate. These were made using the word for it is transferware, and you'll see these decorations on a lot of the plates of the era. I also have included here this blue and white plate that is from Martha's Vineyard. Very traditional transferware plate, beautiful design, classic, and absolutely lovely, hanging on a wall or in a china cabinet, but also, like I said, would make a fantastic hostess gift for anyone who gets to stay the weekend. In addition to these plates, I also offer quite a few of these mid-century metal trays. I just find them very charming. This particular one is from the bicentennial in 1976 and is still in its original wrapper. You can see I photographed it retaining the wrapper. I did not open it. Just I think it's always so fun, even though it's a little hard to photograph. And last but not least, this is another addition to the shop, which is a Norman Rockwell Freedom of Speech plate. These limited edition plates were made probably, I want to say this one is from the 1970s or 1980s, sort of a newer thing in the shop, but always important pieces when Norman Rockwell is involved. This is a nice addition to the vintage fragrance collection at Duckwells. This is a 1970s bottle of oil of musk, the classic fragrance of that era. You can see that this bottle is about 2/3 full, still has a remainder of its paper label, and a really nicely shaped cap and bottle. Really nice classic 1970s fragrance. Now we have a really nice antiques tobacco pipe that was made by the William DeMuth Company. It's called a Turin Rustic Bulldog Pipe. The pipe is in used condition and is being sold as found. The cool looking rusticated pipe measures about 4.5 inches long. These nice old pipes are still collectible to this day, and this is a really nice example of the rusticated version that you can see the texture is what makes it rusticated. Really nice collectible. In keeping with the tobacco theme, boy, do I have a treat for you. This fantastic wooden box is a vintage West German Brazilian Trullery cigar box. The box is circa 1950s and in very good vintage condition with some stains and finish loss. The wood box held Dublin style cigars and has a nice period paper label. Actually, two paper labels. It's a nice collectible that measures about 9 3/4 inches wide and has a metal latch closure. As you can see, this box features the most amazing 1950s graphics. I really appreciate the work that went into these paper labels. If you aren't aware, it is West German made, which dates it then to, I believe it was 1947-48 when Germany was annexed into East and West. And this is a classic example of their fantastic printmaking. Always really enjoy anytime I see any type of ephemera that is marked made in Germany. This is a beautiful box and a highly collectible piece and a great 1950s era printmaking extravaganza. This is an interesting piece. It's a cool antique key fob tag from the United States Registry Company on Broadway in New York City. The registry service promised $1 reward for the prompt return of any keys. You just drop them in any mailbox. The embossed key fob is in a silver toned metal and measures approximately 1 3/4 inches long. It's in good vintage condition with original patina, circa 1920s, with great old timey lettering. If you think about it, this is just an Apple AirTag from the olden days. Nice piece. Really interesting and a fun piece of New York history. I do enjoy adding tools to Duckwells whenever I come across tools, especially tools that are in a case. I'm a bit partial to this. This here is a vintage tool set called the Imperial Tubing Toolkit. In its original teal metal box, the tool set has an interior paper instruction label and includes the embossed metal tools. It appears to be missing two adapters, but I seriously don't know if they were ever included. The set was made in Chicago, Illinois, and has a great old-time patina and would be a nice addition to the vintage tool collection. Up next is a rare vintage glass musical decanter. The glass horse is nicely detailed with metal accents and has a cork lined cap that also is a pourer. The music box plays How Dry I Am when it's wound and lifted and shuts off when it's placed back down. It's a wonderful conversation piece and a great addition to the vintage bar or to the home decor. The decanter is in very good condition, marked Japan, most likely late 1960s through the 1970s. The music box still plays. Enjoy! Looking to add some vintage charm to your kitchen? This would be perfect. It's a Pyrex glass teapot from their Flameware collection. The glass stovetop teapot, it features a glass lid and a stainless steel band that goes around the pot and holds the handle to the pot. It's a 6-cup teapot in very good condition with no chips or cracks and would just make a perfect addition to the vintage home. I know we're a bit early, we might even be a bit late, but I continually add vintage and antique Christmas to the shop, so I thought I would just highlight a few new pieces of inventory that we haven't been seeing in the last few months. So first up, we have a really charming kitschy blow mold ornament. This ornament is Santa on a rocking chair surrounded by presents and his sack and poinsettias and on a rocking chair. So he's got it all going on right now. And I like these kinds of really kitschy type ornaments and decorations. So I do, when I am able to find them, I do add them to the shop. This one here has a lot of hand painted details and is kind of worth the instant kitsch factor that you get from this type of ornament. In addition to this Santa, we also have a few Santa candy containers, including two Santas on skis and Santa with his white sleigh. So these candy containers were made in Providence, Rhode Island, and made of a very hard plastic material and very popular. Would be filled with candy for children, but these decorations have lasted throughout the decades, and now they're highly coveted Christmas decor. And I am fortunate enough that I just found 3 of them and was happy to be able to add it to the Christmas collection. So take a peek at those. Can't beat Santa on skis as far as I'm concerned. Following that, I have a unique tobacco can that was, I believe it's Prince Albert tobacco, had a holiday tin of tobacco that came with a free pouch. And imagine my surprise when I opened it and it still contained the tobacco. Obviously, for legal reasons, I can't send the tobacco, but I can send this fantastic can that has wonderful graphics and is a unique Christmas collectible. Just before Valentine's Day this year, I came across a treasure trove of antique Valentine's Day cards. Worth a look. They'll be in the shop for the year if you want to take a peek. In the meantime, I'm going to add a song written by my husband for your enjoyment while you view these remarkable cards.
It's word on the street that you are so sweet. Think that I might follow your light. When the time is right, let's dance into the night till the stars take flight. When love is on guard, don't ever push hard while it's a seed among the weeds. Things that go unsaid keep tears from being shed till your hearts are wed. When we're in each other's arms, life is short but love is long. And when you look inside of me, you will see that love is for eternity. It's word on the street that you are so sweet. Think that I might follow your light. When the time is right, let's dance into the night till the stars take flight. When we're in each other's When love is on guard, don't ever push hard while it's a seed among the weeds. Things that go unsaid keep tears from being shed till your hearts are wet. When we're in each other's arms, life is short but love is long. And when you look inside of me, you will see that love is for eternity. And when you look inside of me, you will see that love is for eternity.
Last but not least, we come to antique and vintage Easter treats. This Easter, we have a wonderful German printed postcard that features all the major motifs of Easter, including the famous rabbit. We've got chicken and eggs and a wonderful pastoral scene. This postcard, which is unwritten on the reverse, was printed in Germany and harbors a fun secret that we'll get to in a moment, but I did just want to make sure that you saw the wonderful graphics that are included on this card. The hole in the center is what helps make the card, yes, make a sound. As you can see on the left, it said squeeze the card. Well, this is what happens when you do. Wasn't that fun? So in addition to the Easter squeezy card, I also have an antique squeezy Christmas postcard and a mid-century Cape Cod seagull postcard. So these novelties were popular throughout the decades, and I'm fortunate enough to have 3 of them on hand right now. So let's get back to Easter. For Easter decorating, I have these fun, kitschy floral picks that have the various motifs, including, of course, bunny rabbits and chickens and all the other good stuff that comes along with springtime. These plastic picks were made in Hong Kong, probably in the late 1960s, and make for really fun, kitschy springtime decorating, whether you're doing crafting or floral arranging, or personally, I just like to stick them together in a vase and they look so charming. This set right here, I think there's 3 of them. Yeah, these are flocked, and that's always fun to see the flocked birds with the plastic orange beaks and feet. I just think these are really fun, great for decorating for Easter and for the spring home decor. On a similar time level, I've also purchased quite a few of these mid-century cake toppers. These plastic cake toppers were incredibly popular all through the 1960s, when most cakes were decorated with the plastic little treats of the season and these adorable chickens, and we have some sort of birds and lots of chickens right there, and you'll see a few more animals well represented as we move forward, but here's literal chickens, which is so humorous. So like I said, I bought quite a few of these because I really enjoy this kind of kitschy 1960s. It's a real reminder of my childhood and my mom buying all these decorations at the grocery store bakery area and having so much fun, usually letting us as children put the decorations on the cake for her. It's a nice piece of nostalgia. You can see how charming these pieces are. Lots of different colors. Almost all were hand painted, all the little accents, etc. And this actual set, I'm going to go out on a limb and say now we're talking a little bit late 60s, early 70s, just given the neon coloring. Once you start to see that neon coloring, we're getting a little later into the 1960s. But I have to say, these are so charming. And actually, the little red detailing stripe that you see, I think there's some gold there too, makes them incredibly shiny in person. I don't think the camera picked it up as well. But anyway, cake toppers, love them, would be adorable on your next cupcake batch. And last but not least, of the kitschy Easter items, we have this miniature set of Easter baskets with tiny little eggs, and I'm pretty sure there's a few decorated Easter baskets with little tiny eggs and then these adorable little tiny chickens. So this is great for crafting, making little tiny Easter displays, etc. And I love this kind of stuff. Clearly, I have a problem, but I love it. But let's turn now to some more serious Easter items. This here is a mid-century ceramic angel that was for April. So these are considered birthday figurines. I believe that's what you call them. And this one here is the Easter figurine. And I just think she's just lovely. Look at the little bunny off to the left. I mean, come on, that's adorable. And this one is in great condition. The big flaw in these usually was they lost their wings. So I'm happy to report that this mid-century angel still has her wings and is ready to celebrate Easter, hopefully with you. And next up we have a really gorgeous blown glass Easter egg. This is an antique. This is most likely late Victorian era, and you can see it is a stunner. And was very popular in its day to have these eggs as large as it is. I can't remember offhand, but I'm going to say that this egg is at least 8 inches long. It's quite the beautiful piece of glass and makes for a really lovely, I can't even say how much more, but a really lovely Easter display that anyone would be proud to own. I'm pretty impressed by this because these are rare. They're not as popular as they once were, and I'm sure through the decades they just were broken, and so you're just not seeing them like you used to. Anyway, I highly recommend this item because I think it's a stunner and a wonderful example of an earlier era of Easter decorating. Speaking of lovely, this is a beautiful French crystal egg that I think has a classic look to it. I would not say it's specifically Easter or springtime, that if you collect any kinds of glass, paperweights, etc., this is a very classic piece that is just lovely. In person, it sparkles due to the many facets and cuts to the crystal. And I really think for a classic Easter decor, this would just be a wonderful addition, especially if you collect various Easter eggs. Really remarkable. So glad that I'm able to offer it. In addition, and last but not least, I have more German printing. I didn't realize that was going to be a theme of today's episode until I said the word German about 50 times today. But I have collected these throughout the years, and this is just German printing. I believe this was for some type of scrapbooking, which was very popular during the Victorian and post-Victorian era. And these printed items are just really highly detailed. I love the look of them, the high quality of the printing, and I'm happy to offer them. I think they're quite old, and if you use these for crafting, I think you won't be sorry. They're pretty spectacular. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Please check out duckwells.com for more vintage and antique treasures. Thanks again.